We are live. So, welcome to What If? Season 1, Episode 9 thoughts. What if the Watcher broke his oath? So, spoilers for the MCU leading up to this point, including this episode. I may discuss theories that might spoil upcoming episodes in this video. As usual, I recommend videos talking about Easter eggs and such on the show, reacting to it, reviewing episodes, especially videos made by new Rockstar, Screen Rant, Nerdist, CBR Screen Crush, Black Nerd Comedy, IGN, Heavy Spoilers, Magic, Mackie, and Emergency Awesome. Not saying all of them did one or more videos on this specific episode or even show, just that they're good for Disney Plus shows that tie into the MCU. So, if this is the first of these videos by me that you watch, just to get you up to speed, I love every MCU movie. They're in the 7 out of 10 to 10 out of 10 range, although I don't make any excuses for Iron Man 2. And I love every episode that's come out so far of the Disney Plus MCU shows. 10 out of 10 for WandaVision, Captain America and the Winter Soldier, Season 1 of Loki, and Season 1 of this show, including this episode. This is a really excellent season finale. Yeah, they are really good at this. This is, yeah, I know not everybody loves all the season finales for the Disney Plus MCU shows. I do. Now, let's see. So the yeah, I'm gonna try not to take forever on this, but I am going to talk a little bit about pacing. So yeah, WandaVision took a while to reveal very much of the main mystery. Personally, I was very happy with all the red herrings, but I understand not everyone was. But at least it did have red herrings, where Loki Season 1 had almost no main mystery stuff. Captain America the Winter Soldier had long chunks where very little would happen. It was just people talking. There would be at least one of these in every episode. Loki Season 1 was very slow in its slow drip feed of information about the main mystery, frustratingly slow to the point where it felt like absolutely nothing was happening there. I used to say it was a good thing for these Disney Plus MCU shows that, unlike the 22 episode per season, 42-minute episodes that would air on TV before the Disney Plus shows, the Disney Plus shows themselves did not have to fight for our attention by having something dramatic at the end of every 7 minutes when there would be an ad break, since something you're watching that's being transmitted at that time for the first time on TV has rivals on other networks at that same time. But Disney Plus shows you can watch anytime once the episode is on Disney Plus. But yeah, for some of season 1 of Loki, I got to wondering if maybe it would have been better for these shows to have those limitations. But honestly, this entire season has such great pacing. I don't know, I guess the rest of them just need to look at what works well for this show, and yeah. And I forget if I've said this before, but honestly, I do think some really great things came at the cost of the pacing. I'm not saying that, they killed the pacing and what they used to kill the pacing wasn't worth watching. I'm not saying that. But yeah, this entire season, you know, the pacing is great all throughout. So, back to the specific episode, I think an argument could be made that Batrocc's performance is broad. Other than that, I wouldn't say there are any broad performances. It is another dark episode. The acting is good. I think the episode lives up to its potential based on the concept it explores. The episode has great character moments for all characters. Everyone behaves in character. And Nando V Movies pointed out that grief is, appears to be the main theme for Phase 4 of the MCU, and in this we do have several characters grieving. It fares pretty well on diversity. And this is actually the first episode did not have a bad guy win. And this episode did not have a bad guy win. And this episode actually undid a bunch of the bad guy victories in other episodes in this season. But yeah, other than these, a bad guy wins in every single episode. And I guess, let's see, the ones that weren't undone, Zombie Thanos. Actually, then no, yeah, they didn't do anything about Zombie Thanos. and he presumably still has most of the Infinity Stones. Is that the only one? And you know, technically, bad things still happened in the Doctor Strange centric episode. But yeah, I think other than that, yeah, I swear I'm not going to take forever. I'm just really quickly going to go through. So we already talked about season, episode 1. Episode 2 was the ego ended up winning. That was T'Char Lord. That was undone in this. T'Char Lord stops ego with with the Ravagers, his forces. And let's see, the episode 3 was Hank Pym the serial killer. Loki won. That was undone in this episode by the two captains and Natasha. Let's see, episode 4, I want to say that was Doctor Strange, so already talked about that one. Then we had zombies in episode 5. So yeah, that one they didn't really undo. Although, did they remove a huge chunk of zombies? I guess that might mean that maybe the good guys will manage to leverage that one Infinity Stone they have against Thanos. I don't know. Let's see. Then we have Killmonger, who got trapped in the mirror, not mirror, pocket dimension. Um, I got my comic book science terms mixed up there. No, and yeah, and then the one after that was Ultron won via escaping to the space where ah where Uatu watches all the different universes. So yeah, Zombie Thanos is the only one that they didn't fix, and yeah. Now that yeah, so to get to the chronological notes, we start in the opening of Captain America: The Winter Soldier, but in the universe where Peggy is Captain Carter, and Natasha is still trying to set up the captain with someone, and she brings up Steve. And one of the Easter egg people pointed out, we never really saw anybody like poke at Steve by bringing up, like at least not on one of his friends, by bringing up Peggy. So the Easter egg person said that must mean that Natasha and Peggy have a closer relationship in this than, and that might also be how Captain Carter managed to find out who Natasha's father was. And it was cool to see Batroc again. Are you seeing that? Not gonna lie, at first I thought that it was actually that she was trying to get him to look so she could attack him while he looked in the other direction. I'm really glad that they get through the Watcher's recruitment really quickly in a montage, instead of spending forever before getting to the reason we're watching the episode. I like that the Watcher tells Killmonger he knows he killed Tony Stark. It's like, don't try anything funny. I know what you did, and of course he still does try something. And that was also, I briefly breaking out of the chronological notes here, I thought it was clever that the ending, the Watcher always foresaw that if he picked this exact team, if he put Killmonger in there, then Killmonger would try to take the stones away from, let's go with Zola Jarvis, and Zolarvis. And Zolarvis was going to try to take them back because, yeah, okay, he's no longer serving Hydra, but he still wants to survive. We know that. We saw that. He panicked when Hawkeye threatened to pour water onto the tower. So he still wants to live, and if he has all the Infinity Stones, no one's gonna, who could possibly stop him? But if he gives up the Infinity Stones, they're probably gonna turn him off, possibly permanently. So yeah, it's very clever as a that the two of them have to get, and that also takes Killmonger out of the equation because he was not gonna make the world a better place in his universe. You know, ah, there was another thing I wanted to say about that. Let's see, what was the ah, right, the yeah, we yet again see ultimately, Killmonger. It's right that he cares about how black people are treated around the world, but his methods are too extreme. It's always going to get self-destructive and destructive in general. And yeah, they're at the end of when they're all when they're still dealing with the Infinity Stones, and he's like, let's go to all our different worlds and fix everything using the Infinity Stones. He can't completely accept that, yeah, for sure, black people need to be treated better around the world, but you can't just, he's yeah, the Rhodey had it right. You've got to work within the system to improve the system, where Killmonger says you can just burn it all down. It's really funny when the Watcher picks up Thor because he won't shut up and listen. Meanwhile, Thor is beating up Ultron bots, and he's like, I was going on a date. I was going to go on a date. I was going to take a bath. I didn't realize it right away, but I think that's a reference to Thor the Dark World, where Darcy walks up and says, you smell nice. Did you shower? Or I've, that might not be verbatim, but something like that, to Jane, when she's going on a date with a character played by an actor whose first name is Chris. So, yeah. And the just yeah, it was is really funny. I Outside of Thor Ragnarok, I do find Thor really funny. So, he just okay, forget it. He just reaches out, grabs him. One of the Easter egg people said he picks him up like a toy or something, and just pulls him closer, and we just see this horrified, just really funny. Good bit of continuity. Thor still has the science tattoo on his arm near his shoulder, and we're only 6 minutes in, and the Watcher's telling them why he recruited them. So, they keep things moving. They don't take forever to yeah. And he calls them the Guardians of the Multiverse, which some of the Easter egg people called the worst kept secret in the MCU. And Thor opens the door and almost gets pulled out. Strange Supreme, maybe the next time make it a little more clear how dangerous it. Oh, I wouldn't do that. Just that really doesn't cut it. And Gamora has what was called the Infinity Crusher. She can, to crush all the Infinity Stones. Very clever. And Strange Supreme multiplies Mjolnir like dozens of times, and yeah, that was a great. And Captain Carter grabs one. It's not that she's worthy; it's that there's what's it called? There's not the worthiness spell on it yet. So, and T'Challa Lord grabbed the Soul Stone with sticky fingers, and Strange Supreme let in a bunch of zombies from that universe. And Vision Ultron was able to defeat them pretty easily, but then he has to contend with Zombie 1, and ultimately he does, he does take her out, but it is significantly more dangerous than, yeah, the zombies weren't really a threat to him. We're from another universe. I mean, another universe. And Captain Carter knows how to prove to even this Natasha Romanoff, you know, that her Natasha really trusts her. I believe the term is BFF. I really hope for more Captain Carter. I really enjoyed her, like, just yeah, she's a very different character than Steve. She's giving the briefing and she's like, they've got about 40 of these charmers. Just yeah, and Batroc is like, I thought you were more than just a shield. I'm also a pretty good dancer. Just yeah, her dancing is better than my British accent is right now. And Strange Supreme swallows the Soul Stone, which was, that was what Banner guessed in the first Avengers. He was like, he's being told by Natasha about the Tesseract, and he's like, "What does Fury want me to do? Swallow it?" I really love seeing Natasha and Captain Carter use the two Captain Shields on Ultron, especially when they use them in combination, something we've never seen before in the MCU, which, you know, okay, to be fair, we only very recently found out there's more than one of these shields, but just, yeah, really, really enjoyed it. And some people said that the when they're doing that, it was reminiscent of the climax of Civil War, Bucky and Steve versus Tony, and yeah, very true. I quite like there's one bit where they like tackle him from two different sides. Like one goes for the upper part, one goes for the lower part, and he just it's yeah. And Vision Ultron uses the Time Stone to freeze time so he can get the Soul Stone back. But Strange Supreme counteracts with his own Time Stone and unleashes the tentacles. The Infinity Crusher in effect was really cool. The Crusher was designed to destroy the stones on my world, not his. Now, some people have said that, well, then how could they use the stones that they had gathered from different, they in Endgame they time travel and then they get all the stones, but those stones are from the same overall universe. They're from different times in the universe, and I realized that those times cut off into their own timelines when you remove those Infinity Stones. But as far as I understand, those are still the Infinity Stones from the I don't know. Maybe I missed something. Getting a real anime vibe from some of these fights. And Natasha gets thrown through the air and lands right near her motorcycle with the Zola arrow. But cute wordplay. This one's for you, Clint. And the arrow gets right in Ultron's eye. This is far nicer than my human body ever was. And AI Zola versus Ultron, very cool. And, others have already pointed out, it's just like the fight uh, between the two AI in Age of Ultron. So it actually, yeah, Ultron is getting a taste of his own medicine here. And Killmonger puts on the armor, gets the stones, tries to talk the other members into them using the stones, which I like. He figures that there's a chance. He thinks he can talk them into it, so he's not going to start fighting them until he's sure he can't talk them into it. And Vision's body gets up, now controlled by Zola, whose face is in the stomach, just like in the comics. So it took them a while, but they did manage to recreate that aspect. And yeah, so we see that Strange Supreme will watch over the Pocket Universe that the Guardians are trapped in. I mean, I can't help but wonder if hypothetically that Pocket Dimension will be important in the season 2 finale team up, seeing as how a lot of stuff from other episodes became important in this episode, this season finale. I really appreciate that they actually brought back all of these characters. Like, I was enjoying the show when I just thought that these were complete one-offs, but now I really love these episodes because in addition to all this, like, they got a lot of development in their individual episodes and they were fun to follow, but then this episode brings them all together and they're like playing off each other and reacting to this new status quo that they're in. So they're almost definitely going to do the same thing for season 2, and I'm psyched. That's really great, and it's actually, we haven't gotten it that much in the movie so far, but maybe this show can help, get us some. I don't know. I mean, right now they're still only talking about 2 seasons, as far as I understand. Though I heard at least one person theorize about like season 3 and 4, and so. But anyway, season 2 might get us a completely different team, which in the comics is something that happens all the time. The Avengers are always joining the team and quitting the team and such. So, and we haven't gotten that much of that in the movie so far. You kind of get a little bit of that with, the end of Age of Ultron. A couple of members quit, and new members join, but overall there's not we haven't gotten like hugely different lineups, I think they're called, so yeah, but this team, let's see, we had, I mean, if we say that Captain Carter is roughly equivalent to Steve Rogers, let's see, we had two Avengers. Well, I guess, yeah. I mean, Doctor Strange was an honorary Avenger, but he wasn't like one of the main Avengers. I don't know. I don't know how you want to qualify if anyway, but yeah, really only those two, because the others, yeah, Gamora, at best honorary Avenger. Let's see. I mean, the actually, yeah, the Gamora that we got, that was actually the previously evil Gamora, and in the editing room's abridged script for Endgame, she makes sure to point out, I'm reformed now, I'm no longer evil, so if someone were to snap their fingers and remove all of Thanos' evil forces, I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page here. I'm no longer one of those forces, okay? Just making sure. Killmonger most definitely wasn't an Avenger. Yeah, he's right. Thor, obviously. Okay, so yeah, three OG Avengers, and let's see let's see, Strange, Killmonger, Gamora. Yeah, those are them, aren't they? Those are the six members. So of the six team members, only three of them really count as ones we'd seen as like regular Avengers before. And we see all the Guardians return to their original universes, and Carter wants to go be with Steve, which, she wants the end game happy ending that Steve got, but, she was told your world needs a Captain Carter, and that helps. That means that, Natasha confronts the Watcher, and as at least one Easter egg person say that Natasha's basically channeling all of us. We're like, how could you just watch as all this bad stuff happened? And the Watcher sends Natasha to the world where the Avengers, except for the two captains, were killed by Hank Pym. And I really love, she says, it's a mess. Thank you. Because now she has something to solve, some good to do with her skills. That she doesn't she doesn't really need that much more. That's the like in all the yeah, in all the films, that's she really wants to make to try to make things right, to solve something that she can solve with using her skills. Avengers 1, read in her ledger. Age of Ultron, she, yeah, she takes a brief, there at the end, she briefly looks at like the video of the Barton newborn, but the she doesn't even really consider leaving the team, even though, Hulk and Tony leave the team. And let's see, then we've got Civil War. She's also, she kind of goes back and forth on whose side she's on, but she's always trying to make sure that things go as well as they possibly could. And, her solo movie also, yeah. Now, and yeah, we have, this episode has a post-credit scene, the first episode of the show to have one of those. Captain Carter and Natasha find the Hydra Stomper, and apparently Steve is inside. We don't know if, like, I've seen some suggest that he's basically the Winter Soldier of that universe, and possibly, yeah, it's we don't know exactly what happened to him in between now. So, the characters whose actors did not reprise the roles from the movies in this episode are Peter Quill, Shuri, Natasha, Gamora, and Ultron. Everyone else was played by the actor who played them in the movies, and Ultron was still played by Ross Marquand, Natasha by Lake Bell. I did not quite catch if Shuri was also still being played by the same, but yeah. And yeah, one of the questions with an episode like this is, of course, do I think that this cheapens the other stories, especially a story like Strange Supreme? No, I think it's perfect that Strange Supreme gets the task of watching the pocket dimension. He got a chance to redeem himself by saving all of the multiverse after he destroyed his own entire universe. He has no universe to return to, but he'll watch over the pocket one, and is clearly emotionally in a better place than at the end of his first episode, because he despaired over having screwed up, because he tried to do what he thought was the right thing to do, and now he's accepted, he can't fix everything, but he can still do some good. And he says, I've got nothing but time, because, I mean, hypothetically, let's say he went back to one of the other universes, I wouldn't rule out that he might essentially be immortal now, that he could go on living, forever. I mean, he has all these, evil creatures. He absorbed their powers. I don't think it's a stretch to think that some of them, either by themselves or combined, can give eternal life. And yeah, he'll never see Christine again, but he can help do some good by, limiting how much destruction Killmonger and, Zolarvis can possibly spread. Which also, I can't help but wonder if maybe the finale of the second season will have someone manage to take that from him and thus get their hands on Infinity Stones, but then also will have to contend with Killmonger and Zolarvis. But yeah, I don't know, possibly not. So basically, the Watcher recruited the protagonist of every single episode leading up to this one. Well, I don't know if you want to include Natasha, since he didn't bring her in. They just ended up, they were on her world. But yeah, and no one from the Hank Pym serial killer episode. We just saw that world again at the end of the episode. And it wasn't the Watcher, but Strange Supreme, who recruited, if you could call it that, Zombie Wanda, or Zwanda. Gwanda. That is a great way to avoid this episode feeling like they just started over yet again. And this is the last thing Chadwick Boseman appears in. He went out on a high note. So that, yeah. Let's see, I think that is absolutely everything. It's everything I've written down. I swear I'm not gonna spend forever. I'm just gonna see if I think of something in the next several seconds that I didn't write down, that I want to make sure to say, so that I don't turn off the camera and then realize I wish I had said it. I hope the second season also does this thing of recruiting characters, especially the protagonist from each of those other episodes. You can't really claim that he recruited all the main good guy, because Killmonger definitely wasn't a good guy, but he was the protagonist. He was the person driving that story, the story of that entire episode. Let's see. I look forward to seeing the Gamora episode. They say that it's going to be in season 2, the one that would have set up her for this episode. Yeah, looking forward to that. That is really cool, with her apparently on Sakaar, and so must Tony have been, because his armor had Sakarian markers on it. So yeah, let's see. I think right, and there's still theories saying that that Strange Supreme will show up in Multiverse of Madness. That would make a lot of sense. I'm not 100% certain how many episodes, if any, of season 2 will have aired by the time that the movie hits theaters, but they this one did come out before that. So hypothetically, if that movie features the yeah, if Strange Supreme makes an appearance in that, his pocket, the pocket universe he's watching, and his ability to, we don't know exactly how many different realities he can watch from where he is, but clearly, like, he was the one who approached the Watcher. When the Watcher, yeah, when he and the Watcher were in the same place at the end of the episode before this one, Strange Supreme wasn't like, what happened? He's like, well, 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 look who, you know, I guess maybe you need a hand here. He knew what happened there. So he has some ability to watch beyond, and he realized that the Watcher was there, just like Ultron did, which, before the Watcher started intentionally revealing himself in this episode, those were the only two beings who were actually able to see him. We could see him off in the background every so often in episodes, but they couldn't. So there's definitely an awareness there that, and I mean, if hypothetically he did get the chance to leave that area, yeah, I could definitely see him wanting to do that. And, I mean, I guess probably it's possible that the main reason he's not right now in this episode, I mean, is that the Watcher would try to stop him, and he may not have the power to. But whether it's maybe the main Doctor Strange gets takes too big of a risk, or maybe it's Wanda who's trying to access the multiverse, but someone opens the door for him and out he walks. I could definitely see that. I don't know for sure that that is going to be, but I could definitely see that as an option. That's the great thing, this episode, it's possible we'll never see him again. It's possible he'll appear as a hero again. It's possible he'll appear as a villain. He technically was a villain in the episode focused on him. Not both Doctor Strange's, but Strange Supreme was a villain. He just didn't realize it, as he thought that what he was doing was the right thing. But so yeah, and that's one of the great things about comic books. A lot of stories can end with you know a character, yeah, maybe they'll show up again, maybe they'll never show up again. Maybe the next time they show up they're a hero, maybe next time they're a villain, maybe it's more complicated. But yeah, I really feel like this is one of the Disney Plus MCU shows that really digs into what fun can be had with comic book adaptations. This episode brought together so many cool concepts that, yeah, it was really great. So I'm really going to miss having a Disney Plus MCU show, because for some reason it's going to be like, what, month and a half or something before Hawkeye even starts airing. But, they're, yeah, I'm really looking forward to that one. It looks super cool. So I hope you enjoyed watching, as I enjoyed watching and recording, and I'll catch you next time.